Let's turn to 1 Corinthians 12, and that's where we're going to be this morning. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. We're going to read verses 12 to 26, and there's a lot of gubbins up the front today, and you'll see why in a moment. So 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 12 to 26. Kids, as I read this Bible reading, look out for the word body, okay? We're going to be thinking about, you might even be able to see a body somewhere in the room, and we're going to be thinking about bodies a little bit. So just look out for that word body. And you've got your worksheet in front of you, so you can follow along and use that to help you as well. So 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Beginning at verse 12. Just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body, so it is with Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit so as to form one body, whether Jews or Gentiles, slave or free, and we were all given the one Spirit to drink. And so the body is not made up of one part, but of many. Now if the foot should say, because I'm not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has placed the parts in the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you, and the head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. And the parts that we think are less honourable we treat with special honour, and the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while our presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has put the body together, giving greater honour to the parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honoured, every part rejoices with it. But do keep that passage open, and that's what we're going to be looking at this morning and thinking about. Oh, what's David doing? You right, David?
Cup of coffee, Rich.
Oh, thank you, David. That's
Full fat.
It's black as well, black coffee. That's very kind of you, David. Thank you so much. I'll have a slurp now if you. Sorry, I didn't pick up on the micro.
Some biscuits, cup of glass of water and a few biscuits.
And a couple of biscuits. That's ever so kind of you. I was a bit parched, actually. Thank you, Rick. That's so kind. I just have a... Oh, hello, Kev. You're right.
I know you get up early on Sunday mornings.
Oh, thank you.
You don't always have time
Normally.
for breakfast, and you've got your biscuits that will help and your coffee that will help. But I know that you normally like chocolate. And that's the
Oh,
one thing that
thank
keeps going.
you.
Couldn't get any Toblerone, but hopefully this will keep your blood sugar up.
Oh,
See you through to
that's
about
ever so
lunchtime.
kind. Thank you, Cal. I just put my coffee, my water, my biscuits down. I just take that Mars bar. I'm quite partial to a Mars bar, actually. Shall I have a little nibble now, or shall I? Maybe we should save that. Maybe that could go to a child who gets an answer or something like that. Who knows? That was very kind of them, wasn't it? Can anyone tell me, what did Kev and Rick and David, what did they do for me? What did they do? Just tell me, what did they do? Marion, top mark. Do you want the Mars bar? It's a bit early for Mars bar, isn't it? That's it, isn't it? They served me. Whether it was a coffee or biscuits and water, or whatever it looked like, they served me. And that was very, very kind of them. And that's what we're going to think about this morning. As we saw in the verse just a moment ago, Jesus said, didn't he, the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. So Jesus came into the world and he came to serve, a little bit like that, what we just saw there. Now, Peter takes that forward a bit for us, and we'll think about this morning. And he says to the church, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others. You see, God's made us all wonderfully different. We're all so different, aren't we? And we all have different gifts, and God has created us, and he's shaped us, and he's made us special. And he's made us with special gifts that we can use to serve other people. So I tell you what, let's ask you a question. What can you do really well? Go on, kids. One of you kids, tell me something that you can do really well. Go on, Isaac. Rugby. Brilliant. What position? Forward. I'm thinking more winger at the moment. You could end up as a prop, but we'll see how things progress. Probably more sort of, scrum half, maybe. Rugby, that's brilliant. So you're really good at rugby. That's fantastic. That's your gift. That's the thing that you're good at. Go on, Josh, go on. Football, yeah, great at football. Well done. So you're good at football. That's something you're good at. Yeah, any other kids anything you're good at? Anything at all. Don't have to be sport. Could be anything. You're poking your sister. Always dangerous. Honesty. Oh, modesty. That's what you're good at. Oh, right. Okay, just being modest and humble. Yeah, not blowing your own trumpet. Of course, yeah, brilliant. That's a gift. It's a grace. But anyway, let's not go there. So, yeah. So we all have different things that we're good at, or maybe not so good at as well. You know, I can't make these worksheets. I couldn't do that. You know, if I had a go at doing that worksheet, you basically get a box and a circle. Maybe they would be boring. There'd be nothing on the bit of paper because I'm rubbish at all of that stuff. But Catherine Totten, she can do that. That's her gift. And so she makes the worksheets each time for the All Together service. And that's something that she can do. I definitely couldn't do that, but she can. And that's a gift that she uses to serve. You know, I can't play the drums. And you really wouldn't want me to have a go at playing the drums. I can't play the drums, but Matt and George and Eli, they can play the drums, and they play well, and they serve as they use that gift of playing the drums. Or, you know, any of the musicians, think of all the different musical instruments up the front here. They use those gifts to serve us in different ways, to facilitate our worship. You know, I can't do numbers. I can't do numbers, I can't do maths, I can't do counting, I can't do spreadsheets, I can't do accounting. Anything to do with numbers and figures and money, all that kind of accounting stuff, I can't do that. Rubbish at that kind of stuff. I have a good memory for conversations, but a terrible memory for passwords. I have to write all my passwords down. I just don't do numbers. But Tom and Alice and others in the church are good at numbers. They're good at figures. They've got a head for figures. They actually quite enjoy it. You know, if you give them some maths homework, they'll be like, oh, great. They love them, maybe not. But you know what I mean? They have that gift and they use it to serve us. I do not know what goes on in that corner of the room over there. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't have a clue. I couldn't even switch that thing on. I don't understand it. There's just wires everywhere. There's sliders and buttons and all sorts of bit. But those guys, and they're smiling, they're probably saying, well, we don't know what we're doing either. But those guys know what they're doing. That's how they serve. It's one of the ways that they serve in the church. And actually, while we're there, the tech guys, they're going to be getting a tech team together. They need help over there. They need a team of people to do that. Our two deacons sit there more often than not, and it's time for them to build a team. So they're going to have a team. They have a tech team over there. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's your gift. You're not like Rich, but you know how to do that. They're going to simplify it and make it a bit easier, all those wires and things, and that'll be a way for others to join them in serving. I can't cook. Well, I can, although beg to differ, but I can cook. But I can't cook like so many of you can. Last night we had the marriage course and we were fed this lovely meal. I can't cook like so many of you can cook. I certainly can't bake at all. I certainly, the thought of the community, 40 people in here feeding all the quantities and getting it all together. But Anne and her team, they can do that, and they do that so well. That's their gift. That's how they serve. And you guys do, we have a bring and share lunch, bring all this beautiful food. It's a way of serving, isn't it? It's a gift and a way of serving. I'm rubbish, as you know. Or if you don't know, my wife knows I'm rubbish at fixing things. I'm rubbish at fixing things. But quite rubbish at a few things actually. But many of you are very good at fixing things in different areas, in different ways. But you're good at fixing things, and you can serve through the gift, the God-given gift that you've been given. It might be something different. It might be encouraging people. It might be listening. Listening is a gift, isn't it? That ability to go, actually, I've got 2 ears, one mouth, 2 ears, and just to sit and to listen to someone well, to ask a wise question and understand and listen. That's a gift. Encouraging, listening, helping, guiding someone, or organizing something, administrating something. There is a person in our church, or persons perhaps, but there's someone who each week comes and puts the bins out. That's a way of serving. It's a practical way of serving. Week by week they come and they do that. So there are different gifts that we have as we serve. And the way that Paul picks that up is he basically talks about it like a body. So there's one body, but there are all these different, you've got different body parts, haven't you? Put your hands in the air. Well, there we are. So we've got hands, haven't we? We've got fingers there, and on the end there's fingernails, and some of you probably got longer ones than me, but yeah, there's fingers, there's hands, there's a head. Where's your hairy head? Little ones, really little ones. Where is your hairy head? Anyone show me where your hairy head is? Thank you, Lottie. That's your hairy head, isn't it? Wiggle your toes. Wiggle those toes. Should we do head, shoulders, knees, and toes? Should we just do it right now? We're ready. We're going to do it right. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, And that was my other gift, which is singing. So there we are. But we got all these different parts. We got one body, but many parts. Now, who's this? I'm going to have a coffee. Thanks, Kev. It's Mr. Potato Head, isn't it? It's a lovely black coffee. And that's right. Now, I've got a Mrs. Potato Head here. But what's the problem with Mrs. Potato Head here? She's all eye, isn't she? She's just an eye or eyes. There's just nothing else there. I need someone to come and help me to sort Mrs. Potato Head out a little bit. I need someone with a little bit of manual dexterity, so we're probably not looking at the creche. Go on, you want to come and do it? Yep, come and get yourself up the front then. And Josh, you're going to make Mrs. because she's not, she needs more parts. So she's got her eyes there. So I'm just going to take you a while to get through there, isn't it? Tripping over all the tech wires as you go. So, Josh, can you come up the front and just, put it there. Look, can you make a proper Mrs. Potato Head there for me? While we're doing that, we're going to do another game. It's called Pin the Part on the Body. Okay, now I'm going to need a few people up the front for this. So we're going to do Pin the Part on the Body. It's the old pin, the party game. So if you'd like to come and pin a part on the body with a blindfold on, then do come up. I'm going to have a couple of adults to help me as well, I think. Paul, would you like to come and help me? You come up here, just be an adult around doing adult stuff. Because there's blindfolds and, maybe you could apply a blindfold. That's it. Go on, another child. Let's have another kid. You got to be sort of tall enough to pin. There's the body down here. Yeah, we got what? Oh, I know. Yeah, you put that one on there. Look, that's it. And I'll have another one. Go on, Milo's coming up. You're going to pin the part on the body. That's great. So Mummy can probably cope with that. Rich's smelly scarf that's been in the cupboard a bit too long. There we go. So let's give you a body part. What body parts do we need? Well, we've had hands, haven't we? I'll tell you what, I give you this. Right, Paul, I've got a job for you. Sorry about this. So here's some blue tack. I want you to just tack that so that she can, you're going to do that. And then I've got another blindfold here. It's a bit unorthodox, but let's have another kid while we're going. So you put the hand, you're going to have a go. Spin around a couple of times. Another child, you want to have a go? Yeah, so you put that on but backwards. Obviously, you've got a big hole in the front. You put it on forward, you'll be able to see the thing. Just shove that down. That's it, yeah. That's good. So you want to... Go on, Caleb. You have an eye. I'll give you that. Your dad will sort you out in a second. And Milo. So what are we going to get you? Should we give you a... Whoa. I don't know. I think we give you the mouth, actually. Nice big mouth there. Great colouring in. I don't know who did the colouring in. That's obviously their gift. I don't know why I'm walking over here. Go on, spin them round. Let's see if they can get the body part on there. And how's Mrs. Potato Head coming on? She's coming on well. She's looking good. That's it. Oh, clever. I like what you did there. Found the edge. Go on, we're going to prep. We're going to prep up a few more here, Paul. Have you got that blue tack?
No.
Oh, you've used it all. I tell you what, I got the sellotape dispenser. I thought we might need it, so we're going to use that. Go on, give her another go. You pull that down, look. Lena! That was a bit left field, wasn't it? A whole pack of blue tack. What just happened there? Oh, well, I won't argue with you because you know we all know what happens when I argue with you in public, so let's not go there. Right, go on, spin that round. Pop that on. Milo, you can have a go at putting the mouth on there. See if you can get the mouth on there. Just think, come right up here. Look, I'll bring you up here, look. Here's the board right in front of you, so just have a feel. Go on, and then just try and... Have you got some sticky? I haven't got any sticky on there, have you? Well, we've got Lena's blue tack. We've got sellotape dispenser. Where's my sellotape dispenser? That's it. I dare use Lena's blue tack, to be honest. There we go. So pop that on there. That's it. Look, you put it on this board right in front of you. Where do you think that mouth goes? Lovely. Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's good. We got eyes. You want to do another one, Milo? Do you want to do another one? Yeah, I've got a foot for you. Look, we'll get a foot on there. Look. That's it.
Okay, take a step back. Okay, you've got a foot.
What we got? Lovely.
Try with the foot.
That's it. We've got an ear. I've got an ear. We have an ear. Caleb could do an ear, couldn't he? Nice big ear.
Just in front of you.
Nearly as big as my ear, that. There we go. You stick that on there. How are we doing? Many parts, one body. Is it looking good? Oh, Josh, well done. That's fantastic. Should we give her a round of applause, Mrs. Potato? And I like that. I'm going to keep that now, but it might be useful for a moment. And let's give them a round of applause. The kids up here as well who've done very well. Look at that. Now that is a funny old body, isn't it? All those different parts of one body. And that's what Paul is saying. Look, the church is one body and it's made up of many parts and they're all so different, and sort of try and get them in the right order. And you know the other thing that Paul's saying in 1 Corinthians 12, he's saying two things that you can't say. One thing he says is, look, you can't say, oh, you know, if I was like them, if I had gifts like them, if I was so clever or so good at this, if only I was like them, then I'd be able to serve, but I'm not like them. I can't do anything. What can I do? I'm not like that person. I've not got their abilities or their... No, and Paul says, no, you can't say that. We're all different. And you can't look up and compare at others and go, oh, if only I was like them. No, God has made us all different, each part important. And then Paul sort of turns it round. And he says, you know, you can't look down. You can't look at another part of the body in the church and say, well, I don't know why we need them. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they contribute. I don't need you. I don't need you to help me. Paul says you can't do that because God has made one body with many parts, and they're all important, and each needs one another. Paul says, cut out the comparisons, either up or down. We all need each other, all many parts of that one body. So we're to serve with our God-given gift. Now let me try and apply this, and I want to talk to you children and you young people here today. Let me ask you some questions. Look, let me ask you a question. Do you believe, you don't have to answer out loud, but do you believe that Jesus died so you could be forgiven? Personally, right. If you believe that, next question, do you want to follow Jesus? Now, if you say, yeah, I believe Jesus has died so I can be forgiven, I want to follow Jesus, here's the next question. How are you going to serve Jesus? How are you going to serve in his church here? What are you going to do? Okay, I've been forgiven by Jesus. I want to follow Jesus. How are you going to serve? What gift has God given you already that you can use to serve Jesus? There's a question for many of our children and young people to think about. You know, the Christian question is this one, isn't it? Wherever you are, maybe you're at work, maybe you're at home, maybe you're in the church, wherever you are, the Christian question is, how can I serve you? That's the Christian question. How can I serve you? Bit like David and Kevin Rick, really, isn't it? How can I serve? But you see, how can I serve you? That's the Christian question. And we're thinking particularly this morning about serving in the church, and that's because our series is about that, and that's because what Paul's talking about in 1 Corinthians 12. He's talking about how we serve with our gifts in the church, the body and the many parts. Notice with me, adults, just surrounding our passage, in 1 Corinthians 12 verse 7, Paul says, "Now to each one the manifestation of the Spirit is given for the common good." So Paul says, look, there's different gifts. There's different ways of serving, but whatever they are, they're all for the common good. That's the kind of setup before this passage. What does Paul talk about after this passage? Well, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, he talks about love, doesn't he? Love never fails. You know the wedding passage, love never fails. Love keeps no record of wrongs, all of that stuff. And so we're called as Christians to really to serve in this way, to serve with your God-given gift in love. It's crucial, isn't it? We can all be doing things using our gifts, but we have to do it in love, and that's what Paul calls us to here as a church. Now, as I say, we can pick up these ideas in our growth groups and think a bit more about them, but let me just tease this out a bit. In the church, what does it look like serving with your gift in love? Well, there are some things that happen in the life of the church that are quite organic, aren't they? You just, that needs doing, and you use your gift, or you muck in and you serve. That's more organic. It kind of just happens. And then there are other ways of serving in the church that are a bit more organised. Well, we have to think about that. Organic and organised. Peter in 1 Peter 4 says, look, there's speaking and there's doing. There's word and there's deed. You might think about your gifts like that. Have I got a speaking gift? Or have I got a kind of doing gift, a word gift or a deed gift? That's a helpful way of thinking. Some ways of serving in the church are very upfront. So here's one of them right now. It's a really obvious example, isn't it? Guy's up the front, he's talking. That's quite upfront. But many ways of serving in the church are very backstage, aren't they? Some are up front, some are backstage. Some of you will do up front or backstage or a bit of both. It depends on your gift, doesn't it? Some ways of serving in the church are one-off. It's like there's just this thing here that we need to do, and 2 or 3 of us we've got to work out how to do this thing. It's a one-off thing. And then other ways of serving in the church are more regular. You might be part of a team, and it's like more or less every week. You think, right, what are we going to do this week, and how are we going to do that? It's a more regular way of serving. I want to just talk a little bit about that, about teams in our church. We're wonderfully blessed as a church, aren't we? So it's a great encouragement as elders, as pastors of the church, as we look out and we see so many teams of people serving in different ways. I'm not going to go through them all now, there's too many. But, in our gospel gateways, each one has a team. All of our children's and youth work, they've all got teams. There's a welcome team. And there's so many different teams, team of musicians, all around the church serving in different ways. It's worth saying that at the size of church that we're at now, that becomes even more important. Well, when you're a kind of smaller church, there's a sense in which everyone kind of does a bit of everything. Sort of all mucking on the rota and that. But as you get to our sort of size and indeed bigger, increasingly you kind of have to focus your efforts. What's the 1 or 2 or 3 things that maybe that's my gift, that's something that I can invest in, and I'll join a team and serve in that area. Our teams have leaders. Each one of them has a leader, and that's part of serving too, isn't it? Leaders serve their teams, their groups, their growth groups. Growth groups is another example of that. One of the things that I find really helpful, I'm on different teams in the church. Some of the teams, it's worth saying, I lead, and some of them I don't. Just because I'm the pastor doesn't mean I have to lead if I'm on the team. team that I'm on, that I'm one of the leaders, but I'm not the overall. I'm on different teams. And one of the things that I find really helpful is about 2, maybe 3 times a year, we meet together and we do 2 things. We remember why we do what we do. Now, I find that so helpful because you know what, like, life's busy, isn't it? And you just get all sorts of things going on, and I kind of lose the plot a bit, and I kind of forget why I'm doing what I'm doing. But as we come together as a team, we remember, we go, oh yeah. So here's an example. In a team with children or young people, we come back to Psalm 78 verse 6, which says, we saw it on the screen earlier in the notices, so that the next generation would know. Now that hangs over all of our work with children and young people in the church, so that the next generation would know. And I come back to that in my team as we get together and we remember that, and it refreshes my heart. Oh yeah, that's what the games are about. That's what the activities are about. That's all the planning and all the stuff that goes on, the craft time and all the noise and all the hubbub and everything. It's all about that, so that the next generation would know. Thank you for that reminder, whoever the leader of the team was, that's reminded, why are we doing this? That's why we're doing it. I've remembered, so we remember and then we review. We remember why we do what we do, and then we review what we do. How's it going? Oh, yeah, we could do a bit of work on that, or change this, or this bit's going really well, and so we remember and we review. I think that's a really helpful thing to do as teams in the church, and I'd encourage you to do it. I find that I need it. I need to be reminded, and I need to review what I do and what we do. Maybe you're here this morning, you think, look, Rich, I don't know what my gift is. I'm not sure. I've tried. I've thought about it. I just can't think how I could serve in the church. I'd encourage you, if that's you, come and talk to us as elders. You know, I just don't know, Rich. I don't know where I fit in, where I slot in. Come and talk to us about that. We'd love to chat about that. We're all shaped differently. And it's helpful sometimes to talk with someone like, what is my gift? Well, I think you're really good at this. Maybe you could do that. So we'd love to talk as elders with folks who maybe not sure. Maybe you're someone who like, actually I do this and I do that. I quite like to do something more. I've got a bit extra time, or I've got this particular gift, and I don't know. Come and talk to us about that. We'd love to chat about that. How can we serve in the church? As elders, we don't want to be a bottleneck to service. Rather, we want to release people and equip people into service in the church. So please come and talk to us about that. Jesus came to serve, and we're called to serve each other and to serve with each other as we belong to our church, take our place in the body and follow him. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for Jesus, that he came to serve, and we thank you that by your Spirit you have given each one of us different gifts. Father, would you help us to use the gifts that you have given in love to build up the church and to advance your gospel. For your glory we pray. Amen.